All right, today I'm going to be making a blog post app. We're going to be making, for the first time, making some users and making some blog posts, but it won't have any front end. It'll just be the data itself. We'll be creating a database for our blog post app and interacting with that database using the Rails console. And then we're going to be creating two models, users and blog posts, and we're going to be relating the users to the blog posts using something called associations. So that's what's going on there. The syllabus page is Rails associations. That's where we're going to be living today. When I'm creating a new Rails app, the Rails app should be lowercase and snake case and singular. I'm dropping the SQLite database that comes standard with Rails. I'm inserting in a PostgreSQL database, and I am dropping the normal testing environment that comes with Rails.
I would like to stress how much the singular plays a major factor in this. Whenever he says singular, you guys weren't all here. It will totally fuck up everything if you don't use singular. If you use a plural of like movies or people or whatever, everything.
Have you figured out why that is?
Because it changes it in the stupid thing and
the stupid thing?
Yeah, it changed it on my migrations. It changed it. Yeah. And every time I tried to type it, it was mad at me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
But if it knows the difference between people and persons, or person and people, then is that stupid or is that pretty smart?
I think it's very annoying. So I think it's stupid.
Can you figure out why it's doing that? Can you take a guess?
I noticed that it's making like you're adding a movie to movies. I mean, I get that concept, even though it's called movie. But
yeah. Well, the table's called movie, as in it will make a movie one at a time.
Correct.
But the place that we hold all that data is called
movies.
Movies.
Yes.
And so since you don't have to make two different things now, you don't have to make both movie and movies, Rails is making the other one for you.
But if you do it backwards from the beginning, you're screwed.
It will try to pluralize a plural, correct, and it will screw itself. Yep, that's fine. All right. What sport do we know here? Are we a basketball crew? Are we a baseball crew?
Football.
Football?
Rugby.
Football? Like, can I get hands for football real quick? All right, can I get hands for basketball? Can I get hands for baseball? Can I get hands for NASCAR?
Ah, lost me there.
Sorry. All right, I'm just trying to figure out what
NASCAR is not a sport.
Is football more in the zeitgeist right now? Is that what's going on?
No hockey, okay.
Hockey, okay. How many hockey? I got with the same number of hockey as I do football.
Hockey's dope.
Okay, what about golf? Golf doesn't work for my example, by the way. All right. Let's do football.
So
all right, football. Okay, we got players, and I've got teams. Okay. Dude, that's garbage. I've got players. Teams is gonna have to move over a little bit. No, we're gonna go top and bottom. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Austin, do you mind unsharing your screen?
Oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Thank you.
All right, cool. We got teams. And we got players. Can you guys see players down here? Let's get another color here. Oh, I lost all of my black pens. That is actually my darkest. All right, we're gonna go with brown and light blue. These colors will look so great. Okay, teams. I I need a team that is
Cowboys.
all right, Cowboys. All right, and who do they play for? What city?
Dallas.
I live out here, so I should know that. Oh, that's not Dallas. This is city. Okay. I need another team.
Cowgirls.
Aliens.
Jason,
Sure.
need another team.
Falcons, baby.
Who do they play for?
Atlanta.
All right, I need another team.
Broncos, Denver.
All right,
Bars-
Cowboys, Falcons, Chargers, Broncos, and Chargers and the Broncos. I got Dallas, Atlanta, LA, and Denver. I never liked the Chargers, and I liked them even less when they moved to LA. Okay, here we go. Players. I need somebody who plays for the Cowboys.
Current or retired?
I don't care.
Emmett Smith.
I need somebody who played for. Oh, I got it. The Chargers. I need somebody who played for the Broncos.
Lionel Messi.
John Elway played for the Broncos.
Argentina in here?
He's a footballer, ain't he?
Doug Flutie was the kicker for the Chargers.
Lionel Messi is the best soccer player to ever live. Do not try to pass that off on me as if I don't know that fact.
He's a footballer.
He's
All
a
right.
footballer. That's correct.
I need somebody who played for the Falcons. Jason.
Ray Finkel.
The bad boy himself, Michael Vick. You know.
Whoa, whoa.
People just don't understand Atlanta. That's what's going on. All right.
Locking your dogs.
So I have a problem. I've got two databases. I can keep track of my players and I can keep track of my teams. My teams can keep track of what city they play for. My players, though, I have no way of keeping track of what teams they play for. Not in a way that's really meaningful. Like, what could I do to make it so that we can keep track of what teams that these guys play for?
New column. Teams.
Yeah, I can make a new column called teams, right? Try that again. Don't wipe dry erase off with your fingers because it leaves an oil. And then I could put Emmitt Smith plays for the Cowboys, LT played for the Chargers. I could put John Elway played for the Broncos and Michael Vick played for the Falcons, right? But what would I essentially be doing there if I wrote those teams out?
Writing the same thing twice.
Yeah. And also, I already have that. Like, I have that information. And not only do I have that information from these teams, but I have even more information. I have, like, what city they belong to. So there's got to be another way to keep track of how players belong to what teams. And how do we do this in the actual sport of football? Like, how do you know when you're looking at a player during the game that they belong to a team if you don't know their name?
Jersey.
They have a jersey. And are there like 15 different jerseys on the field at the same time?
The color. A number.
There's only 2 colors of jerseys on the field at the same time. And what do the color of the jerseys represent?
Home and away.
They just represent the team. So is there something that I can associate with these players that represents the whole team and all of its information?
Color.
Well, I don't have any colors up here other than this gross brown.
The primary key.
The team
Hell yeah.
logo.
Cliff figured it out. Emmitt Smith played for the Cowboys. LT played for the Chargers. John Elway played for the Broncos. And Michael Vick played for the Falcons. We call this style of data association the foreign key. A foreign key is some other table's primary key. And it tells me Emmitt Smith has all of the information from this entire row in this other database that this foreign key belongs to. In this case, we could say it's the team's foreign key. And this is how data is related in a relational database. Cool. I just wanted to show that because honestly, modern sports are the best way to express relational databases for getting started. If you don't believe me, watch the movie Moneyball. It's all about how the Oakland A's got had that crazy winning streak using data associations. Very cool stuff. All right. So we created our app. Let's get into the app. All right, I have CD'd into my blog app. What's the first thing that I need to do? Anytime I CD into a Rails project.
Migrate.
Database.
Database and run the server.
Rails DB create creates a database. Rails S just makes sure that I can run the server and everything works without breaking. Cool, we're good to go. Troubleshooting tips. Did you create your database? That's a good question. Did you migrate once you had something you needed to migrate? Errors, always look at the first error on the list, which might be all the way up at the top. Okay, so I want to make a blog app, and this blog app, let's open this up in code. And you know what, let's cd out and code active record associations. I want that one as well, open as well. Sorry. Okay. As well associations. Today is September 1st. That's crazy.
Did you just
Oh,
make
9/1.
that a file or was already made?
I had just made this earlier with all of you here. Okay, active record associations. Today we're going to be learning about the foreign key. Foreign key.
EI.
I before E, except for foreign key. The foreign key relational databases. I'm struggling today, y'all. And database associations. Those are mainly the three things that we're going to get into. Okay, so the kind of database that we're learning about today is called a relational database. We've been using relational databases, but today we're going to actually set up our first relationships. Like how players are related to teams, we are going to create more data that's related to each other, like users to their posts. The idea of a relational database was first described by a name named Edgar Frank Codd while working for IBM. And it completely revolutionized the way we as humans, like the whole of humanity, has taken in and worked with data ever since. And we can probably like chalk up a huge number of inventions in the last 50 years, mostly to relational databases. It's changed everything from finance to farming, and it's doing almost all of it through computer programs, but even relational databases that are handwritten logs of information have changed the whole world. It's amazing. So just massive amounts of winning coming from Edgar Cod. He's like a grandpa's name. All right. Rails supports 6 different types of database relationships. The first one, and the one that we're going to look at today and work with in our challenges today, is belongs to. There's another one called a has one. Belongs to is an exactly, or belongs to / has many is exactly teams. So a player belongs to a team has many players. Golf would probably be a better example of a belongs to has one. Each golfer has a caddy, each caddy belongs to a golfer. I'm not trying to belittle people, it's just data associations, that's all. A has many through would be something like a post can have, oh sorry, a person can have many likes on, or can like many things, but a post can have many likes. And so as a user, I can like a bunch of different stuff, and as a post, I can have a whole bunch of likes. So there's a has many through likes situation there. So we can have a relationship there. There's has one through, it's a little bit, it's kind of specific, and a has many belongs to many relationship. That's also a very specific kind of data structure. I really haven't even seen any projects that utilize these recently, let alone like use them myself. So just a heads up. The combinations of these relationships are described as a one-to-many relationship. My team has many players. A one-to-one, me and another company work together, but exclusively. And a many-to-many. Many companies are associated with many conferences. So that sort of situation. Okay, I want to create a new model called user inside of my database. That is going to utilize the Rails generate command. What do I do? What do I generate if I want to make a space in my database for something called user? What's that called? It's part of the MVC architecture.
Model. Model.
Model. I'm going to generate a model. And if I want something in my database called a user, what's the name of that model, Cliff?
Singular.
User.
Oh,
Okay, not users, which is Cliff's point. All right, users have what?
Name.
Usernames are what data type?
Strings.
Users can also have what? Let's go with email.
Password.
Yeah, we'll do password later. Well, not today. Email. Emails are what data type?
String.
All right, navigators, does this look good? What do you think of this command?
Commas.
No commas. That's the one. The generate commands in the terminal are the no commas. The ones in the console are the commas.
Do you need the quotes or no?
No quotes here either. Good questions. All right, we did it correctly. Invoke active record, created some sort of file. What's that file called, y'all?
Migrate.
Yeah, it's called a migration. And we also created a new model. What's the name of my model?
User.rb.
Good job. I can see my migration here inside of my migration folders, but I don't have a schema yet. So what do I know about my current database?
The date that it was done.
Hasn't migrated.
It hasn't been migrated. We will know the date it was done here in a second, but we know the date that this migration was created. So I appreciate that. Okay. So what do I need to do to make sure I migrate my database?
Migrated.
Okay. what's the
Rails,
command?
Rails space DB : migrate.
Good job. Here, start to wrong thing. All right, navigators, does that look right? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Now I want to keep track of this right here. Okay. So we have migrated the database. What should I do once I migrate my database if I want to have a user? I want users in my database. How do I get them?
User.create. Oh, inside the console.
There you go. Yeah. Do not need that sign. Rails console, or Rails C for short. Okay, and we have user dot create. What kind of method is this? It's a Ruby style method that's doing a SQL request. What kind of method is it? What technology does this method belong to?
ORM.
It belongs to a specific ORM.
Oh, active record.
It belongs to Active Record, correct. Active Record is the technology that has Ruby style methods running SQL requests. So when I do a .all, a .select, or .create, a .new, any of that kind of stuff, I'm talking, or a .where, I'm doing Active Record methods. Okay, user.create. What do we need for our users?
The name and email.
Cool. Now I'm going to be doing quotes and I'm going to be doing commas inside of this console, just a heads up. Okay, Samuel, what's my first user?
First user is going to be, I guess, let's make it Kelly.
All right, and then Kelly's email, Vanessa.
Kelly@gmail.
All right, do I need anything else, y'all? All right, cool. I'm gonna make another one real quick. Wizard kicker, I kick wizards at gmail.com. Can I get maybe a Reddit user real quick? What kind of email does a Reddit user have?
Fake one.
All right. So we've got some basic users. Any questions about what I'm doing here? Is this going over anybody's head here? All right, question. If I turn off my console and I turn off my terminal and I close out of my project and I shut down my computer and then I turn it back on and I open this stuff back up, will this stuff still be here?
You lose it.
Yes.
You didn't save it.
It will still be here. It is currently saved inside of my database. I will show you. Okay, so I've just turned off my console. My console is no longer running. And if I open up the console again, and we query the database, all of the users are still there. It's returned to me as an array when I do the active record command .all.
So why do you migrate, or why would you ever migrate again?
Migrate would change the shape. If I needed to add something like user preferences or settings, I would add that column to user, and then I would go in and add those settings to them. Migration is not about changing the things in there. It's about changing the shape of the database, like what I have access to. For instance, if I wanted to make another table in my database alongside users. Okay.
So you said if you turn the computer off and you come back in, that data will be still there?
Yeah, totally.
So in this case, that means it doesn't use RAM, random access memory. It goes straight
exactly.
into permanent.
Yeah, a database does not use RAM.
Okay.
A database is literally writing to the hard drive. That's what a database is. It's no longer random access memory. I actually have a whole rant about this, but we don't really have time for that today. But maybe I'll go on this rant later. I literally cut it out for this morning. Cool. So we've got our users. Let's copy these users in. Cool. Now what I want to do is I want to set up a relationship by creating a new model called blog post that has a relationship to the model user. This relationship is going to be a belongs to lowercase. It belongs to has many relationship. That means one of my models is going to have the information of belongs to, and the other model is going to have the information of has many. And the model with the belongs to side will need a foreign key to track which user each blog post is from. So that way I can know this blog post was written by this user and this blog post was written by this user. And each user can have dozens or hundreds or thousands of blog posts, and we always know who the author was of that blog post. So the way this is going to look is we're going to generate a new model. Of blog post. And the generate command I'm going to use here is just a G. It's a shorthand for generate. Blog post is going to take title. What else do blog posts have instead of just a title?
Text.
The post itself, which we're going to use the type of text because string is a little bit too short for what we're going to be doing. And maybe our blog post has an image URL. What kind of data type would I use for an image URL?
A string?
Correct, a string. It's just a string of characters put together. All right. Any questions? Okay. Let's run this information.
You did text because it's more than a couple words, right?
Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm doing string only allows for like 500 characters. So text allows for like 30 million if we wanted to. Okay, Rails, G, model, blog post, title string, post, text, image URL, string. But there's also something here I need to track in my database. And that last thing is very important, and that's going to be my foreign key. And so the foreign key here is going to be called user ID. And user ID is going to take the value of integer. Cliff, what did you do? I see you yelling at the screen.
I pushed enter already. I didn't do the stupid foreign key. Fuck.
Okay, what tool can you use to change the shape of your database?
Migration.
Yeah. So real quick migration will add that foreign key for you.
Wait, I didn't migrate it yet.
Yeah, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could hard code that foreign key in here as this into your migration if you wanted to. T dot integer user ID.
You can just type that in and it won't get mad at you.
It's just Ruby.
Okay, because I tried that yesterday, switching from plural to singular, and it really got mad at me.
You already migrated at that point.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Just think through the workflow. Before this has been run, you haven't migrated. It hasn't made any significant changes. Cool, yeah. So we're going to add in a user ID as our foreign key. All right. Now that I have this migration up, what do I need to do?
DB
Migrate.
migrate.
Yep. Rails DB migrate. Create blog posts migrating, create table blog posts migrated. Check out our schema. Look what I got here. How many tables do I have in my schema?
2.
2.
Ew, what are the name of my tables, Francisco?
Starting from line 26.
I have 2 tables. I want to know their names.
Blog posts and users.
You got it. Cool. And one of these tables has something that links it to another table. What line are we looking at for that one, Lewis?
A line that links it to the other table.
Yeah, blog posts has a line of code that links it to the table users.
I have not seen the line.
No worries. Line 21 right here is going to look at the user ID of blog posts. It's going to be the foreign key that associates who belongs to what team, or what post belongs to which author. All right, I've gotten to know you all a little bit over the time we've spent together. I can see some of your faces are like, where the crap are we? What's going on? Someone, please give me a question. What can I help with?
I have a question. So if the name of the table is not users, for example, person, would you put person ID and it will associate it?
You got it.
So it's already linked. Right now it's linked.
There's one more step we have to do, but that is how we link things, is using a foreign key, correct? Okay, now we need to set up the actual kind of relationship that we have. So right now it knows that these are linked. It doesn't know what style of link that they have. It doesn't know if it's a belongs to has one. It doesn't know if it's a belongs to has many, or a has many, or whatever that might be. So we are going to tell Rails what that relationship is, and we do that in the models. Inside of our models, I have user and I have blog posts. So here's my question to you. Do blog posts have many users that make them, or do they belong to a user?
They belong to a
To
user.
a user.
Okay, it belongs to user. Symbol is an identifier data type. And so we're giving it the method belongs to, and we're passing it the argument of user. And a user can make what? Only one blog post in their entire life?
As many as they want to.
They can make as many blog posts as they want in their entire life? Cliff, what do we need here?
I don't know. I'm taking notes. I wasn't paying attention to you. Sorry, I'm copy and pasting so I don't get lost later.
The plural.
I'm gonna make all this code available to you, so you don't have to copy and paste.
Plural.
People make posts. So when we have a has many relationship, it's plural, and on the belongs to side, it's singular. This relationship is something y'all have to keep track of as developers, even if you're not in Rails. This is something you have to keep track of, like, period, wherever you go, always. This is not a Rails is trying to be mean to you. In fact, Rails is doing a whole bunch of extra work for you on this one. Okay. So now that I have that, I want to make a blog post. We got like 10 minutes before the next lecture comes in. So let's make a blog post. Going to drop into the console. And how do we make a blog post, y'all?
Blog post.create.
Normally speaking, we would be blog post.create. Let's give it a try. Actually, I think this with the new Rails, this will actually work just fine. Blog post.create. Blog posts have, let's check out our schema so we can see what we're working with. Blog posts take title, post, and image URL. What's the name of our title? What's Kelly's first post?
Fairy tale is amazing.
Fairy tale is amazing. What's the actual text of the post?
Lorem ipsum.
There's probably actually fairy tale lore ipsum, just a heads up if you want to look it up. And then I need an image URL. Can someone get me an image URL of happy really quick? And just like send it, not in Zoom, just send it in Slack to me. I'm also gonna need a Harry Potter train image, and I'm gonna need a random image. Okay. Cody, that's way too long.
After I did it, I was like, holy crap.
All right, we're just gonna say a happy.image. We're gonna move on with our day. Ooh. Okay, so real quick, let's check this out. Created at nil, updated at nil. So is this item actually in our database? ID nil. It's not. What did I miss?
The foreign key.
I missed the foreign key. Kelly is the first person in our database. And so I know her ID is 1. This technically shouldn't work, but I want to see what happens. Cool. New Rails is really fun. We created our first blog post. ID1, user ID1. Okay. This is not, however, this works sometimes, especially when like we're in the console, but this is not, however, Rails will work while we're working in a full stack application. Just a heads up. This will only work under testing conditions and while we're hard coding things in the console. If we want to work with our blog posts as has any belongs to relationship, an associated relationship, what we're actually going to do is say something a little bit different. Actually, let's copy all of this. Never mind. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna assign Kelly's user to a variable called Kelly. I've created a variable called Kelly. This is what I'll need to do in my full stack applications as well. And when I'm working on databases to passing it to a front end. I've created a new variable. This variable is going to call on its associated table called blog post. Sorry, blog post as a lowercase key value pair as an object notation, as if it was a section of the table of user. Kelly.blogpost.create will be a new method that we have access to. So blog post is now acting in Rails because of its association as if it's a subcategory of users, as if it was a nested object. And so Rails is just letting us work with it as if that was true, which is really, really fun. From here, I can say title more on fairy tale. Image URL. Cody actually sent me a happy. I appreciate it. Oh. Still no dice. Okay. And this time I didn't pass a foreign key because I was calling on Kelly as if it was its own object. And I was assigning to Kelly's object the new instance of blog post. And so it created another blog post, ID2, using Kelly as its anchor point for the foreign key user ID 1. And so that syntax will go right here. And this is the syntax I want you all practicing because it's honestly the harder syntax to get your head around. That should format here in a little bit. Okay, so let's make another post. First, let's clear this up. I have a user called Wizard Kicker. Call it kicker. It's going to just be a local variable. These are the things that are deleted when we turn off console and turn console back on. Kicker is going to be set to user dot where email is ikickwizards@gmail.com. I think that's too much. I think it was just what was user.all. Oh, did I lose my database?
You
Oh.
set kicker to user.all.
That's funny. Wizard kicker is number 2. Okay, let's do kicker equals user dot find 2. All right, that's better. Kicker.blogpost.create title.
Blog posts need to be plural.
It does. You know, it's a real blog post. My trip to Scotland. Say again? Holden sent me a Hogwarts Express model. Oh, hi Lisa, sorry about that. Give me 1 second. And we'll wrap up after this one right here. Cool. Third blog post has popped in. All right. So we are using our variables. We're creating variables which are assigned to our users, which is on the has many side, and the blog posts belongs to a user. So we are using that user variable dot blog posts dot create, and then we're passing to it the normal things it needs, not the user ID.